Hey everyone! Oh, I don't know if I'm centered or not. It's me, it's Michael B. Happy Monday night. Welcome to Chill and Chat with Michael B. So you would have just saw my funny intro there, the Halloween Havoc intro. Something I've been doing for like the last 9-10 years on YouTube. Haven't had a chance to make any Halloween videos yet. Just wanted to show off my new Halloween Havoc video. Hopefully that didn't bother you too much. If you are a big Halloween 3 Season of the Witch fan, you know exactly where that comes from. I love that video. So anyways, guys, we're going to have some fun tonight. There isn't a lot of news to talk about that we haven't already talked about. So I figured we go in a little bit of a different direction and focus on what you guys want. Let's give Arcade1Up some feedback and let's take a look at their product overall. 2023 has been an interesting year because we've seen some massive improvements in the cabinets with the release of the deluxe form factor. They look great, but it still seems like some of the core fan base is relatively unhappy and wants more. So if you could change one thing about Arcade1Up's products, what would it be? I've come up with 4 main points that I wanted to focus on. There's a poll up for you guys to vote as well so I can get your feedback, and we'll discuss it throughout the night. Number 1 is the price point. Number 2 is the form factor, which Paul Mindeman has reminded me incessantly. I haven't forgot, Paul. We'll talk about that as well. Then we've also got the quality, which isn't just the quality of the sticks and buttons, but also the quality of the product overall. A lot of people have always questioned the overall build quality, so we'll talk about that. And last but not least, games. 2023 has seen, I think it's 11 deluxe cabinets released in that time frame, only 2 of which are new. So is it games? Is it more games what you want? Anyways, we'll focus on all that tonight. Maybe have a couple other discussions. We'll see where the chat leads us. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and this is Chill and Chat with that Michael B. the Game Genie. All right, guys, let's get the chat overlay up on the screen so we can talk to you wonderful people. I had a different design going there, but I don't know if I like it. Let's see how it looks with the chat. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go with that. Tell me if it's too distracting or not. And Restream has some new motion backgrounds, and they're kind of neat. Or maybe we just go with the standard one. This is the one everybody seems to like, so we'll go there. So yeah, all right, Kai. Yeah, I saw that. You're from Newfoundland too. I wouldn't know about me being a local celebrity. Definitely not a celebrity, but I'm a guy that's in Newfoundland that makes YouTube videos. Still working on selling my Legends pinball. I've got the 4KP coming, so looking to sell my Legends pinball with my Buy Stuff Deluxe back box here locally to kind of put some funds together in order to help me buy my Stranger Things pinball. We'll see how that goes. So far, not a lot of bites. I put it up for $1,500 Canadian or $1,600 Canadian originally, which I thought was pretty good for the Legends pinball, which is $1,100 here in Canada. The deluxe buy box is like $800, $900 here in Canada, and plus then also the Vibs board is another $100, but just haven't got anybody to bite it. So there you go. All right, let's say hello to the people that are here. I see Jason, Lil Alien, my moderator. Good to see you, man. Change one thing about Time Crisis, add like 10 to 15 more games, and it might be worth the high cost, JJ says. Clear Star says, I honestly don't care about price, just make everything in Excel. There's a lot of people who feel that way. Is Golden Tee 3D worth $6.99? I love the cabinet. I love the game selection, but the screen is the old TN monitor that they use for that and NBA Jam, and it actually looks worse on Golden Tee. I love the XL form factor, but I would see if I could get a deal on it because you're probably going to want to do a screen mod on your Golden Tee. All right, let's go down. Soul Red says, why wouldn't you just come up? It's the weirdest thing in the world. Hold on. I know what's going on here. I was trying to capture on it, and I wasn't in the right space. Soul Red says, my Time Crisis showed up today. I'm putting it together right now. Congratulations, Soul Red. Cornercade's here. Nice to see you, Cornercade. Carlo, congratulations on winning that Kari Warriors Legends Gamer Mini artwork. Good stuff, man. Alfred Burgers here. Garage Gamer, nice to see you, brother. Will Time Crisis be at Best Buy? I don't know. Time Crisis right now is at Walmart, but it's through As Seen on TV, which is actually Shop Hippo. They have the ability to sell to Walmart directly, so it's still through Shop Hippo. It depends on if Shop Hippo can sell to Best Buy as well. Andy's Game Rooms here. Jim Pacers fan. Just A21. Dan Z. Dan in St. Louis. Always good to see you. Game Room Guru. Having a great night myself. JJ. P-Dub stream is running long, but he'll send every way to your way shortly. No big deal. No big deal at all, P-Dubs, even though he called me and said, I'll end on time tonight. Son of a... Sterling Hall, nice to see you, Sterling, as always. Alfred Berger. Nick Ruda, it's getting late and I could use a drink. Halloween 3. Chris Burns says Halloween 3 is awesome. Who else we got here? Sith Lord Lex. Hello, Sith Lord Lex. Midlife Arcade. XL. XL is the answer. Yeah, I agree with that. Joe Hosowski, still watching P-Dubs on Roku on my phone here. Hey, thanks, man. Multitasking. I love it. Darren Kane says, I changed the prices to make them higher. Darren used to work for Arcade1Up. He knows what the thing is. P-Dubs said you're doing a mukbang. I don't know what's wrong with P-Dubs. Hey, Stockchuck, good to see you, brother. Looking forward to a good show. Me too, brother. Hopefully, it's a lively discussion. Everybody here in the chat, feel free to participate. There is no wrong answer. Paul Mindeman says, the only problem is there's not an all option. All might be it too, Paul. Like, we could see this. Carlos says, streams can cross, just not good on Ghostbusters. Deadly McMahon, what's up, everybody? Raid from the Loft. Oh, there we go. OTG, what's happening, brother? Are you still in Canada? Quarterback Arcade said, is this thing on? All right, guys, let's get going. So the main topic from tonight, as you can see in the poll, is if you could change one thing, and I know Paul already said, Pete Up sent me here without asking my permission. I don't think Mike Hawk that he can actually do that. Hey, PD7, what's happening, brother? How are you enjoying that Spider-Man gamer fridge? Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that too, because MG P-Dub sent me to commercial break. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of those tonight. Get ready, friends. Yeah, so everybody picked up Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Brothers Wonder just this past Friday. I actually picked them up as well, but I don't actually get them until Wednesday. Hey, P-Dubs, what's happening, brother? Wednesday, because Wednesday is actually my birthday, and those two games are actually for my wife for my birthday, so that's going to be my birthday celebration. I'm hoping to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in time, so I'm free and clear. Not to mention the massive other backlog, but I'll hopefully get the chance to play both of those on Wednesday, provided I also finish my Pac-Man XL review. So we'll see how it goes. I might not be playing them yet. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it, man. I'm going to be 43 years young. I was telling my daughter earlier, and hey, Gotham City Arcade, thank you very much. I got Sonic and I'm enjoying it. Nice. Mike Hawkert says, I got my first XL Golden Tee arrived last week. Will be going right next to my TNT stand and new KI cab. Nice. Hungry Wolf Guru says, moved to XL. I'd like to have the option to choose between 3/4 and XL on release. Smokey says, happy birthday. Thank you very much. TMCNY says, happy birthday. Thank you. Andrew's Clay Creations more love watching these streams while I sculpt. Yeah. 19K Fox, you're so old. Yeah. 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 In comparison to who, Fox? In comparison to who? Thanks, Sith Lord Lex. So, anyways, guys, let's get started. Whoo, got a little warm there. I'm starting to go through menopause at 43. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is my 4 topics. And let's be honest, like this year from Arcade1Up, they released a lot of cool stuff. Like all the cabs they released are very good versions of these cabs, but people are still somewhat displeased with Arcade1Up, worried about Arcade1Up, and that might be from external factors. Of course, the news of John D. and Scott Bacharach's leaving of the company leaves a little bit of a dark cloud over what should have been a good year, but then there's so many other complaints from the communities too. We got 11 new cabs, only 2 of which were new IPs. We only got 1 XL cab this past year. The quality for the controls, the wood, all that stuff, no improvement, although we did see improvements with the shape and design of the cabs, with the deluxe form factor, and of course with new cabinet shapes, recognizing the original arcades cabinet shape. A lot of things there, but people are still unhappy. So let's ask people, what's the most important of those factors? Like Paul said earlier, the answer might be all of it, but if you could only choose one, what would it be? So first off, let's start with price. And price is the most interesting topic for me to talk about. I love the fact that we can talk about Arcade1Up price, because I remember back when I started doing this, the price point on an Arcade1Up cab with a riser and with a light up marquee, which in my opinion back then we were so happy just to have those 2 things included, was $399. However, when that summer came around, I started making videos on it. Other people did too. And the price was going to go up. And we assumed the price was going to go up to $499. Then cabs started coming out at $599, $699, and higher for 3/4 scale arcades. And honestly, I think a lot of people in the community got sticker shock. The thing about video games is we're a weird bunch, gamers. Like, we love spending money on video games, but we don't like price changes. There's an elasticity to our demand. So when something like a new console comes out, we're used to paying a certain amount from it. So if that is $399, $499, $599, if the next jump is 10%, we can justify that, 10, 20%. But if the next jump is up a couple $100, you're like, Jesus, maybe I don't need this. And it felt like that's the direction Arcade1Up went in. They did a lot of justification on their price increases. They talked about part shortages, cost of wood, cost of shipping, and that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact that we as gamers are only willing to spend so much money on our hobbies. And times change too, because a lot of us, when we got wild in this hobby, we were sitting home doing nothing, twiddling our thumbs in the middle of the pandemic. We weren't going out to restaurants. We weren't going out on trips. We weren't going out to amusement parks. We weren't going out to sports events. We were stuck home. So the idea of building a home arcade just made so much sense. We had so much more expendable income to spend on stuff like this, and we're not there anymore. We just aren't. On top of the fact that all these outside entertainment activities and options are now available again, the cost of the world has just gone up. Anybody who says inflation doesn't exist, you're wild, man, because inflation totally exists. The price of gas has soared. Food prices have gone up. Like, it's getting harder and harder for people to make ends meet. So we're really getting our purse strings a little bit tighter with what we're purchasing. And when it comes to entertainment products, that really does sacrifice most overall. Game Fridge says $299 is my limit. That ship has sailed long ago, but luckily there's sales a lot of times and you can still get stuff. I understand that. JJ McQuaid says the home arcade is luxury, not most people's reality. That's true as well. You might be able to get 1, 2 cabs, maybe no cabs. Not everybody is going to. If you don't think inflation is real, you're smoking what Shiloh's smoking. I love it. Gross Gaming, Mike, do you think we'll see a Sega R360 XL? I'm going to apologize. I don't know what that is, brother. But I did want to bring this up because there was a glimmer of hope in the last little while, and I don't like this view here. Don't like that one either. Jesus. What is going on, Restream? Get your shit together. I don't like any of these. Well, maybe we can make that work. So just it was last week or the week before, during Prime Day, 2 surprise announcements came out with Street Fighter II Championship Edition and Galaga Deluxe, both releasing on Prime Day and going for the sale price of $399.99. So here's the thing. After a year of disappointments and people saying, I don't want to buy the same titles again, all of a sudden there was excitement for titles people knew were coming out that are re-releases of other games. Hell, I mean, Galaga, if I'm not mistaken, is just basically the Pac-Man Deluxe cab again, is it not? So these 2 cabs were released on Prime Day and people were happy. People were excited. And why? because of the price point, $3.99, and harken back to a time when this seemed less expensive. This seemed less price restrictive. You could assess your value on these products a little bit easier. You knew what they were, toy recreations, somewhat small, of arcade cabinets we could have in our home. And $3.99 felt like a much more justifiable price. So for me, when it comes to the home arcade space, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to fight Arcade1Up on what their price points are. I'm not going to say whether they're good or bad. I mean, I'm not actually stirring the soup. I don't know how this works or how this works with retailers, what price they choose. But if there's any way you can get your margins down so you can make these cabs back down to $3.99, I think the data that you recorded from the sales on Prime Day would be a good indication of how your audience feels. I think a lot of people feel your cabinets are overpriced. I mean, we just saw that with, let me just bring this up. It's still sold really well, but there was a large amount, and of course you can see that. So let me see, put myself full screen again. It still sold pretty well, but there was a large amount of groaning about it on social media. And that's the Time Crisis cabinet. So let me just bring this up here. I hate this new restream option. Like, the windows are not what they once were. So let me bring this up again, entire screen. And again, it's terrible. And I don't like that either. There's got to be a better way to do this. What if I do this? I do that. I guess that's as good as it's going to get. Oh, hide your browser history, Mike. I don't have any X videos or Tube Galore on there. Don't worry, Deadly McMahon. At least I shouldn't. Anyways, Time Crisis came out at $749 US, $899. Yeah, I'll just close the chat for right now. $749 US, and people were like guffawed by that price. Everybody was so excited about Time Crisis Deluxe. And especially after seeing Fast and the Furious come out at $5.99, which is a racing cab that's considered to be an over and above cab, where the rest of the deluxe cabs were coming out at $4.99. Fast and the Furious came out at $5.99. We felt that maybe the racing and shooting cabs would be at that $5.99 price point. So when it came out for $150 more, there were a lot of people waiting for this one. This was a surefire buy for them. And that price point, man, people got pissed off about that. People got upset about the price point, and they voiced their opinions. How many videos did you see talking about the price point on Time Crisis? But if this did come out at $4.99, $5.99, still some people would be upset. But I think people would have been happier with the cabinet if it was at a cheaper price. I don't know if Arcade1Up can do it. I have no idea how much it costs to build these things. I have no idea how they work out their budgets. But you know, the proof will be in the pudding. I think this sold well, but in the instance that we end up getting some kind of, Black Friday sale on Time Crisis, and Time Crisis drops to like $4.99, watch how many units sell then at that price point, and that's a true indication of where your prices should be. Yeah, Sterling Hall says, here in Canada, we're used to the prices being bonkers. This is actually $8.99 here in Canada, so it's a little price restrictive for me. I mean, I'm not in a point in time where I'm willing to pay $8.99 for anything here in Canada, other than an XL cab, depending on what it is. JJ McQuaid says, too high a price. I say adios, Arcade1Up. $2.99, $3.99, $5.99 should be price points, in my opinion. I agree. And you know what the funny thing about that is, Sandman? I'm going to call you San One Man One. $2.99 is the price for the classic cabinets. $5.99 is the price for the XL cabinets. But the only one we're missing is $3.99, because it's $4.99 for the deluxe. It would be great if they could get that price down to the $3.99 point. I think a lot of people would be happy. And going back to this sale the other day, watching two titles that people have seen, basically Street Fighter and Galaga, which were some of the very first cabs. They've had multiple iterations released. You would think that it wouldn't be a huge news day, wouldn't be huge sales, but at this price point, people went crazy and went and picked them up. So I say price is a very good starting point to look at Arcade1Up. Now, I know Cyrus has done in interviews already this year. He's talked about, price is a big factor for us. We really want to get down to an affordable price. And in some instances, they've done that. I mean, bringing the price point down to $499 for the deluxe cabs, legacy prices, that's a good starting point. Now, if you can keep your 3/4 scale cabs around, $499, that's okay. $399, in my opinion, that's the magic sweet spot. But then again, that also gives you some wiggle rooms to do some sales. I don't know what the answer is, but certainly I think price is one of the big ones that most people want to see changed. And I'll bring it up right now. Looking at the poll, believe it or not, right now, after 117 votes, price is not the biggest factor. So it seems like price isn't the biggest issue, but it certainly is a big issue to a lot of people right now. Gotham City Arcade says Black Friday will dictate if Time Crisis will sell or not. Yeah, like I'm not really into the deluxe 3/4 anymore. Like as you can see behind me, this is my dedicated Arcade1Up space now. I'm all about the big boys, but if there's a good sale on Time Crisis Black Friday, I may be motivated. I also really want to get an MK2 Deluxe. I can't help myself. The heart wants what the heart wants. I know they'll probably do an XL next year, but I haven't had Mortal Kombat in a very long time. And with the spectate mode coming out, I'm pretty excited about that. If you're going to do other Namco Galaxian Deluxe and XL. So let's move on from there. So we talked about price really quickly. In my opinion, I think that Sandman nailed it. I think that's the price points we should be looking at. Classic with no riser, no light up marquee, $299. What some people in Arcade1Up, I'm told, have previously called them the peasant versions. Then, of course, the deluxe. Really like to see them at $399. I don't know if it's possible. It was definitely possible in that sale, and a lot of people celebrated. There was celebration for those cabs. So if they could do it, I think there would be a lot more positivity toward the brand. And I think $599, $499, $599 is an excellent price point for the XL cabinets. Certainly better than last year when they were $699. Like, Jesus, certainly better than last year. 100%. So moving on, and I want to bring up a comment. Paul, this one's for you, buddy, because I saw Neo Geo 64's post, and I do want to give you a little bit of an explanation on this from the show I did with Cyrus on Friday. So it says, I'd like to buy XL size mostly, 232 votes, 89. I'd like to buy deluxe size mostly or only. I'd like to buy value cabs mostly or only, 60 other or doesn't matter to me. So Cyrus, so since Cyrus and Michael B avoided talking about XLs during the Q&A portion of Arcade1 update, but spent plenty of time talking about expanding the deluxe line, Travis said the final 2024 lineup of Arcade1Up cabs is being finalized now. I thought it would be worth posting this reminder of what form factors the community wants. Did not avoid, it's a bit of a weird one because honestly, on that show, we were given the direction, man. Like, let's not focus too much on talking about 2024. We still got cabs we want to sell this year. So we talked a little bit about cabs, but you're going to get the same answer like we've already got. We talked about it on the last Arcade1 update I did with Cyrus, and I was very blunt. I was like, we like the XL form factors. Are we going to see more XLs? So he said, yeah, we're going to see XL. So it's not that I was avoiding talking about it because, Paul, I love the XLs. I want them too. That's all I want. I love the XLs. Said it in my review. Every time I've reviewed an XL cab, this is what Arcade1Up should have been making all along. I totally agree with you. I just don't think you're going to get a straight answer. Not on that show. There wouldn't have been anything that gave you any value if we talked about it on the show. Now, does Arcade1Up know? Yes, I already brought it up. They can see the data. Like, here's the thing. I appreciate what the Reddit community said. I 100% appreciate it. I think Arcade1Up should know. So it would have been nice if I had this data in front of me. Maybe could have brought this up for Cyrus to see. I will certainly send it to him after the fact. But we know, and Arcade1Up should know how exciting the XL line is, because What's the one cab? The one cab that the whole community groans about every time there's a release because it's the most released Arcade1Up to date, and that is Pac-Man. Now, before anybody shits on it, you have to understand Pac-Man is Arcade1Up's cash cow. Pac-Man is the game that makes the money that allows them to try all the other stuff. So, as long as Arcade1Up's in business, they're a Pac-Man company. They're going to release Pac-Man cabs multiple a year to try to make some money. And we have to look at it this way. All right, they're going to release Pac-Mans. That's awesome. It doesn't take away from another release they would have made for you, because they wouldn't have made another release if they didn't make the Pac-Man. They're making the Pac-Man to make money. The other stuff, they're throwing darts at a wall and trying to make money too. So, yeah. So I want to be clear about this. We need to be less, I don't know what the word is, less offended when Arcade1Up releases something that we're not interested in. We can say as consumers, like, I don't want that. That's stupid. That's fine. But don't think that it's something that takes something away, that it's taking a spot away from something you would have really wanted, because honestly, it's not. They just need to make money, so they're going to sell Pac-Mans. How can the next Pac-Man cab be better than the XL? Jason, you make $1 million point there. I mean, after getting the Pac-Man XL, can I see myself buying another Pac-Man cab? Probably not. I mean, unless they come up with a brand new form factor that's accurate arcade, I can't see myself upgrading. See, Retro Arcade Trooper says, I agree, Pac-Man's their moneymaker. Cash cow. And they're going to ride it for as long as they possibly can. But all that said, I mean, Arcade1Up still released a Pac-Man cab, the only XL cab they released this year, and it's the one people seem to be the most excited about. Out of every release Arcade1Up put out this year, this is the one I've seen the least complaints about, other than the fact that it's stuck behind Costco. You can only get it through Costco or club stores. Honestly, I agree, Pac-Man. P-dubs. Anyways, this is the cab that people are the most excited about. And the funny thing is, it's friggin' Pac-Man, the game that everybody shits on the most. So if you want data, you want a point to see how well the XL cabs do, look at the fact at how many people in your hardcore community groan about Pac-Man releases, and the exact same people were like, holy shit, Pac-Man XL, this thing is awesome. So there you go. So yeah, I hope Pac-Man XL sells well. They got a lot of them out there. I think I've seen some data out there, like something like 13,000 or something went out to the club stores. Hopefully they sell a bunch of them and it motivates them to make more XL cabs, because I would love to see more cabs in XL. Now, the question comes up, and we talked about it Saturday too, is the fact of, should Arcade1Up focus on XL first and foremost? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what they should be doing. Maybe Arcade1Up should become a Arcade1Up XL company. I mean, that's what I want to buy. But like the other people on my panel Saturday night, not everybody feels that way. Not every single person wants everything in XL. Some people still, like, they've still got a massive arcade, or they've got a collection of 3/4 scale cabs and deluxe cabs and want to continue that line. So honestly, a switch to XL would upset the apple cart for them. So I don't know what the right answer is for Arcade1Up to do going forward. Do they do XLs? Do they do deluxe? One of the suggestions that came up was, why don't you do both at the exact same time? Offer them like Stern does. Do a deluxe model and also do an XL model, kind of like Pro and Premium. And I think that's a good idea, but also from a business standpoint, it might be a little bit of a dangerous idea, because it limits your target audience for one product to the other. Either people are going to focus on one or the other. I don't know if they can sell the same of both. I don't know how their production runs work. Like if they do a product, say Marvel vs. Capcom 2, originally there were, I think, 6,000 of those units made. Could they have made 3,000 3/4 and then 3,000 XL? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's involved in the process, how the money works. Do they get a quantity discount? The larger number they make of the quantity, what do the stores want? You got to understand too, from what I understand, most retailers aren't as willing to take the XL on as others are. From what I understand right now, the XL is going to be a club exclusive, even though it has a smaller box, believe it or not. So it's a tough one for Arcade1Up. Me personally, I want to see everything XL. I'm in complete agreement. That's what I want all these cabs to be going forward, especially going back to Time Crisis. So I want to bring up Time Crisis again. I talked about this. Both the driving cabs and the shooting cabs suffer from problems from their height and shape. With the driving cab, I don't have Fast and the Furious. It wasn't ever available in Canada. I've never played one. But with the previous driving cabinets, I always found it really awkward to play at because it's a little bit too small to stand up and play for me. And it's also a little bit too tall to sit on a stool and play. So I don't know. It's a weird in between, but I think an XL cabinet with a little bit more height would make a driving cab much better. And of course, with the gun games, every single time they release a gun cabinet, no matter what, the first comment is this needed a bigger screen. So if you have a form factor with a bigger screen, a 19-inch monitor, why not just do it in an XL? I also said this with Time Crisis with the price point. Geez, man, if you could have done an XL and then charged $7.99 for it, people would have been less upset about a 3/4 scale charging $7.49. So yeah, there you go. I don't know what the answer is. Paul says we need to know what retailers are getting titles because we save up gift cards. If I save up Best Buy gift cards and a cab is only available at Costco, problem. Yeah, that's a good point too. And maybe that's something that Paul remind me. We can ask Cyrus. I don't know if I can get an answer out of him on the next Arcade1 update show because I remember having a conversation with them before, and the way their announcements work is they're locked behind the retailer. They have to do their announcement in conjunction with the retailer, and they partner with the retailer on some of these cabs. And I don't really know what that means, so don't read too much into it. But say, for example, if a cab is coming out from Shop Hippo, I don't know if they can tell you that right away. Maybe they can tell you as soon as the cab's announced. And that's the best they can do. But I don't think they can give you a roadmap of where every cab would be because the way that the sales have gone the last couple of years, there's been store exclusives for the last little while, and some are timed, some are permanent. So I don't know what's involved. So yeah. Anyways, Time Crisis 100% should have been an XL cab, and I will say this is one of those ones where I agree. Maybe there shouldn't have been a deluxe cab for this one. So, guys, that's my whole speech on the XL cabs. Anything is possible, absolutely. Yes, Science Spirits. Yeah, Shop Hippo was another barrier to purchase, worth talking about for sure. That seems to be an issue now, just like Costco was. So, the interesting thing about this is, and I don't know for sure, so don't think this is Arcade1Up saying this. This is me saying this, but there's certain retailers willing to take Arcade1Up specific products. Not everybody is, and like some of them, I don't know how it works. Like they bid for them or something like that. But what happens is Double Dragon, for example. Let's go back to Double Dragon a couple of years ago. Arcade1Up wanted to make a Double Dragon cab. They had the demo cab made after Double Dragon 2, and they had it ready. And I know for a fact they brought it to retailers, asking them if they'd be interested in picking up this cabinet because the Brick told me about it. The Brick said, oh, they didn't do the Double Dragon cab afterwards. And I was like, interesting. So you did see that? And they were like, yeah, they were shopping it around. But it didn't garner enough retailer support in order for it to be picked up. So where I think the partnership with Shop Hippo comes into play, and of course my cat decided to take a dump while I was doing my show, like always, where the partnership with Shop Hippo came up is Shop Hippo are big fans of Arcade1Up. They're the ones that went nuts selling all those stools a couple years ago. So I think the Shop Hippo exclusives aren't so much something to kind of screw the audience. I think maybe they're the only retailer that's like, yeah, I'm all in on this. I'm even going to. You cats are the worst. There's other kitty litters here, you know. Jesus, Roddy. I don't want to be here right now. I got to get these kitty litters out of this room. Holy God. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I was saying about the Shop Hippo piece. Is I think there only certain retailers are willing to pick up certain products. Going back to Time Crisis being available at Walmart, Shop Hippo also, as seen on TV, also has the ability to also sell to Walmart. So maybe after the initial sales they did themselves firsthand, they can turn around and then move it off to another retailer. So yeah, I mean, I wish Arcade1Up could come out and say our cabs are going to be at all our cabs are going to be at Best Buy, all our cabs are going to be at Walmart, all our cabs are going to be at Ollie's, whatever. I don't know the retailer, but it seems they're in a weird spot right now where honestly some releases are dependent on the retailer being willing to take it, and not every retailer is being willing to take everything. Certain retailers are looking for exclusivity. I mean, when Arcade1Up really started strongly partnering with Best Buy, I think that was one of the requirements. They wanted retail exclusivity on certain products to carry them, and that's what we saw there. So, anyways, Paul, long roundabout answer with my cat taking a dump in the middle of it. Hopefully, it made some sense. We got a $9.99 super chat here from Deadly McMahon Mike. Happy birthday, Michael B. This completes my 24-hour home arcade super chat trifecta. Fox, Dubs, and B. Appreciate the content. I appreciate very much you doing that, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes. It's the first one tonight. You guys probably thought I cut it out, but you know me better than that. You got to give the people what they want. Thank you very much, Deadly McMahon. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. There we go. So I bought from Shop Hippo before and it was a good experience. No shipping charge. Hey, that's one of the benefits from Shop Hippo is the no shipping charge. I like that. All right, just trying to catch up. Ears are bleeding. This is why they need to sell themselves, cut out the middleman. Why cut them in? I don't know, Josh. I don't know what the model is. The model works for some companies. I mean, New Wave Toys seems to be fairly successful doing direct-to-consumer sales, but Arcade1Up seems to be pretty dependent on retailers. I mean, if you look at it, I don't think they had any direct-to-consumer sales at all this year. Everything was exclusively through retailers, so I think there's a risk when it comes to doing the direct-to-consumer sales, and it doesn't meet Arcade1Up's risk portfolio, or maybe they got burned in the past. You look back at some of their website exclusives before, you look at Burger Time, you look at Killer Instinct Pro, a couple other ones, and honestly, they didn't sell like hotcakes. They didn't manage to move all those cabinets. There's still Killer Instinct Pros available today. I mean, Burger Time ended up going out to retailers here in Canada, and I think it even went out to retailers in the US. So I just don't think they've shown a history of having success with direct-to-consumer sales. Maybe they need to modify what they're doing. I think Fox talked about it last night. I haven't had a chance to watch a show yet, but he talked about an Arcade1Up Pulse or a Hasbro Pulse, like this basically buy-in system for cabs or pre-buys where they pre-sell them. They do like a Kickstarter on their own website for certain project cabs to see if they can move them. Maybe that's a path they can go down in order to get some of the wacky stuff out. I'll tell you right now, Arcade1Up Pulse, if you do an Arcade1Up Pulse and you do like the stuff that normally goes through retails, it's going to fail. You do an Arcade1Up Pulse and you do something wild and wacky, something really friggin' cool, I think you'll have some success there. There you go. Paul says, don't do direct consumer, high price, can't return to store, can't see it, can't buy it with gift cards. Not good. That's a fair point too. And honestly, I'm a little leery of direct to consumer because Arcade1Up shipping prices to Canada are mucho dinero. And also the, it's crazy. Like we're talking like almost $200 US. Hey, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, man. $2 just for your birthday from Jed Merzug. I hope I said that right, Jed. And Ged or Jed, you can tell me what I said right or wrong. I appreciate it, man. And special for you, I'll try to get the funnest one. Thank you very much, man. Oh, guys, don't I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. But like, don't turn it into just jumping in, throwing me super chats. People give me enough shit about this already. You guys are all wonderful. But thank Retro Lizard, my God, thank you very much. 1999 super chat. You're awesome, man. Thank you very much. I hope you're not offended by pinball money. And Sandman with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Sandman. Pinball money. You got to give the people what they want. You guys are awesome. I will say I get a little bit nervous when something like that comes up and people are saying happy birthday, because I get a lot of shit from certain people online accusing me of being a grifter and stuff like that, saying I'm trying to push it. So I'm just trying to be careful here. I appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. Just please don't think I'm asking you to do it. You guys are amazing. 4.99 super chat here from Retro Arcade Trooper. You guys are just awesome. Thank you very much. You got to give the people what they want. This one's dedicated to P-Dubs and his first Stern inbox pinball machine. At this rate, you'll be able to afford a new pin sometime around February 2026. Yeah, you guys don't know the half of it. Thank you very much. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, the cat scooping video, oh, man, I'm telling you right now, every Monday I just pray, like, don't let the cats come up here during the show, because, like, I don't know what's wrong with these cats. I got to change their diets or something. They're dying here. Gamer Fridge says, who cares? Cure the bag. Thank you very much. Anyways, guys, getting back to the show. So we talked about price. We talked about the XL form factor. Now let's talk about games. And this kind of leads directly from the XL cabs to what we're doing here. Extra Ball is lit. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Sandman says, hey, we just appreciate your content. UP Dubs help lift this community. Love it. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. So I wanted to talk about games, and we've already talked about this a bunch. I mean, there have been 11 deluxe cabs released this year, a bunch more product than we thought Arcade1Up was actually going to come out with. And you could take a look at everything they got here. So many cabs, but out of this lot, a lot of new form factors, but only 2 new games, with that being Time Crisis and The Fast and the Furious. So very interesting that Arcade1Up has this huge year releases, but only 2 new IPs. So they only really took risk on 2 new games that they've been working on for a couple years. So it was a low risk year. You've heard Biggie D talk about it. Low risk and high return was the goal this year. Hopefully they met it, and we can get back to new titles next year. Goofy Foot. Good to see you, Goofy Foot. What the hell is wrong with you people? Only 12% for quality? That's their biggest issue. Thank you very much for the super chat, Goofy Foot. And Goofy Foot, this one's for you, man. Oh, Sterling, God bless you, sir. $5 super chat. Happy birthday. Guys, you don't have to do that. Just say happy birthday. That's enough. I super appreciate it, Sterling. Thank you very much, my man. All right. Oh, I feel bad. And here's a good comment from Jason. I've only bought 1 Arcade1Up cab this year, waiting on bangers. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. And just day 21, is the casino cake good? I have no idea. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just not a product that I have any interest in. Like I'm not a gambling type person. So I saw this and I was like, this has no place in my home or my arcade. So I'm not interested in it. But there's other people that have already picked it up. You can go check out their videos. Some of them seem to like it. Some people want game room accessories. They've been asking Arcade1Up to make stuff like this. So it just depends on if you like it or not. Go check out some reviews. I know Jester Tester has one. He had some issues with, he had to play his offline, so he discovered an issue that no one else had really discovered yet. I think there might be a review copy coming out to a pretty popular YouTuber pretty soon. There's also, who else got one? I know Cornercade's got one, so go check out some reviews of it. I can't give you a comment on it. It's not a product for me, so go check out what other people had to say. D's Nuts, God, I forgot that was my name. I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. $10 super chat from my moderator, Jason. Happy birthday, man. Cue up that They Live special edition video where they expected. Oh, man. I don't know if I still have it, Jason. I took it down to do the Halloween video. I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you. I'll play it next week just for you, my man. I promise. But in the meantime, I'm going to play Don't Fear the All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. You're wicked. Thank you. Anyways, so we've got all these new cabs, but the one thing that we can say is only 2 new releases, and that's been the main complaint, it seems, from people all this past year is we want new games. I guess Arcade1Up could argue that Atari 50th is in fact a new title. I would argue, I don't know what you're doing there. This is something that, I expressed my concern to Arcade1Up about the product. I didn't think this would be one that the core audience would be interested in, where it's not an arcade recreation. They were pretty honest with me and they said, that's fine. This is something that, we're doing specifically for hardcore Atari fans. Seems to be a lot of people out there that are. I'm surprised. Like I've met some hardcore Arcade1Up fans really want this cab. Again, this is another one not for me. I look at this and I'm like, I think that's stupid. But you got your 14 Atari games on there. You also get a bunch of Atari 2600 games. So if this is your jam, that's fine. Not a product for me, but whatever. I mean, hopefully this is one that eventually they'll rebrand, do the asteroids artwork on it because it looks to be the asteroid shape. If this was asteroids, I may have a completely different tune. Anyways, so really one of the biggest issues with Arcade1Up this year has been the games. A lot of people are focusing on the fact that they're doing re-releases instead of bringing out new stuff. People are saying stuff like, all right, where's the Sega? Where's the Konami titles? Where's all this extra stuff? And that's what we haven't seen from Arcade1Up. When's the last time we saw a new Sega release? The last one was it Outrun? Was Outrun the last Sega release from Arcade1Up? Did they only do 2? Was it just Outrun and then Golden Axe? Was that the only 2 Sega releases? I might be wrong with that one, but you can tell me. Then on top of that, the last Konami release was X-Men. So people want to see other titles from Konami. I want to see a proper Frogger cab done. Never be done. No, you will never get a good Frogger because even if they do get the right art, they do take the screen filtering off. It's going to have the wrong music because it's licensed music. It'll never happen. And then with Capcom, I mean, how many times can we see Street Fighter and then this is the second part of that. I mean, how many times can we see Street Fighter and then get weird different games on them? Like a lot of people have multiple Street Fighter cabs because all the cabs have different games lists. So you'll have the original Capcom Legacy Edition because it has a different games list than Big Blue, and then of course the Shinko Hadouken and Yoga Flame cabs had a different game list than them. Some people are happy with that because they want altered games list on these cabs. I'd go a different way with Capcom. So I think that there's enough of a variety of games for you to do multiple Capcom cabinets. And maybe that is you do a Street Fighter cab that's all fighting games and you put your 14 fighting games on there, throw on Darkstalkers, the other Capcom fighting games, Puzzle Fighter, whatever else shit you want to put on it. Then do another Capcom cab and feature on the beat 'em ups, feature, on Final Fight. I love another Final Fight cab done right. Do Final Fight and then put all the other beat 'em ups and shit on it. That'd be a great cab too. Maybe you got to go in another completely different direction. Do one Street Fighter and have a great games list, and then do one which is a different Street Fighter. If the retailers are only willing to buy Street Fighter games, maybe do a Street Fighter Alpha cab. Maybe do a Street Fighter Third Strike cab, and then put different Capcom games on it. It's just, how many times do we want to buy a cabinet that's Street Fighter? How many Street Fighter cabs do we need? We want to see more Capcom titles. But if the only way you can get them out the door is to put the Street Fighter name on it, figure out some way to do it differently. So there you go. Yeah, Jason, I feel the exact same way. I mean, like, I hate the fact, I love Mortal Kombat, but I hate the fact that I have to buy a Mortal Kombat to get Midway games. Like, honestly, I don't want to play Wizard of War. I don't want to play, definitely I don't want to play Defender. I don't want to play Rampage. I don't want to play all these games with a Mortal Kombat control stick, and figure out some way to do a dedicated Midway cab that has different games on it. I know the problem then is you can't do 14 games because you're already struggling to find 14 games to throw on those Midway cabs, but there's got to be some way to do it, man. I know this won't be a popular comment, but maybe do Midway cabs with less. I'd love to see a dedicated Defender cab with the proper controls and just do the games list from the Defender Partycade. We'd all be happy with that. A dedicated Defender cab. That would be great. Even though that's a re-release. No, I'm talking about new games, but we want to see it. And then you want the Sega games. You want the Sega licenses. You want House of the Dead. I know it's really hard to do. We want Daytona. So some of those may be locked behind a technological barrier because, of course, in order to do those games, you're going to have to get a more powerful chipset, and then you're going to have to get commercial emulators that actually run them. So that's fine, but figure out some way to do some different stuff. Hopefully 2024 has some different games. And I'm running out of time, so I want to move on from this one and do the last topic that Gorf. Goddamn. Yes. Gorf. Make Gorf happen. There was a talk about a remake of ICB. What is ICB? You got to give me a little bit of a heads up on what ICB is. Dedicated Commando and Ghosts and Goblins. Hell yeah. My Ghosts and Goblins should be here Wednesday from New Wave Toys. So the ice cold beer. Yes. God, yes. Speaking of New Wave Toys, maybe New Wave Toys could do a 1/6 replica ice cold beer. So funny story about this. Ghosts and Goblins New Wave Toys. I know a lot of the reviews are already out, but I get mine on Wednesday, my review copy, and it just is happenstance that it actually comes on my birthday. Eduardo wrote me and he was like, yeah, here's the tracking to your cab. And I was like, holy shit, it arrives on my birthday. So it's like a little birthday present from New Wave Toys. So there you go. Anyways, guys, the last one is quality. And I mean, this is an easy one to talk about. There's a lot of things with Arcade1Up cabinets that you can pick apart in terms of just hiccups and maybe mistakes or maybe like things we, don't necessarily agree with. But the biggest thing with the quality that people seem to complain about going back to day one is the controls. So it would be nice if Arcade1Up could do higher quality sticks and buttons in their cabinets. Now, I mean, you guys are selling fighting games, and we're playing with pretty much the bottom tier HAP clones. So the experience, while we can play at home and you get those arcade controls, it isn't very good. Maybe kids won't notice, but definitely probably the people that are buying your cabs, most adults, do notice. So it'd be really nice if we could get doesn't even have to be, commercial quality controls, but just step up the quality on the HAP clones because there's higher quality HAP clones you can buy. Do some research, find that out, get better quality parts in your machines. The other control that people, the other quality complaint that a lot of people make, I don't know if I 100% agree with this one or not, is they talk about the quality of the wood. They say it's cheap MDF. It's cheap, thin MDF. I mean, one of the reasons why it's cheap, thin MDF is so that it's lighter, so it doesn't cost as much to ship, because a big part of the shipping charge is the weight of the product. And I mean, it already weighs like 100 pounds, 90 pounds when it gets to you. But a lot of people did like the quality of the wood in the iArcade, which is a little bit thicker MDF. It's still MDF, but it's just a little bit thicker, had a heavier feel to it, had a more solid feel to it. I don't know if it's possible, but if you could go with a more higher quality MDF, thicker quality MDF, look at the model that iArcade did, maybe there's some way you can increase that as well. Maybe people would be happier with it. I mean, some people, they're not going to give a shit. They're just going to say, well, it's not plywood. It's not a real arcade cabinet. No, it's not. It's a toy recreation. Just made so we can, emulate what a real arcade cabinet is like in our homes. It's just a toy, guys. We get it. It's not going to be plywood, but maybe the quality could be a little bit better. So there you go. Anyways, guys, let's go check out the poll results. I forget to do this all the time before I finish up my cabinet. I want to see what you guys had to say, what you guys think. So here it is. Here's the poll and the winner after all this conversation. But before we do, I want to get some feedback from you guys. Thor KC, Thor, remind me, I still got to write at games about your code that you won. So I don't hate the Arcade1Up quality for what it is, but they keep trying to charge as if it's something else. That's the thing. People don't think the current quality of your cabs matches the price point. It's not always about the number of games, like Nostalgia talks about the value with the number of games. It's just the quality of the parts. They don't feel that the quality of the parts matches the premium price that you're charging. So if anybody did business school here, it's a prestige pricing model where you price your product as if it's high quality, but then people look at the build quality, the parts that's included, and the wood, and they're like, well, it's not really there. And here's another thing. iArcade's art application was top quality as well. Sometimes Arcade1Up, sometimes the art isn't top quality. We've had issues where there were, like the Attack from Mars cap. I loved it, but Nostalgia pointed out clear as day, there was some pixelation in the images. There wasn't a high resolution enough image in order for you to do the artwork, so it got a little bit pixelated. Anybody that's ever printed anything out and you print something small into something larger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then other times, like especially in the old days, it used to be so frequent to get cabs from Arcade1Up and the art would be scratched off the side somehow. Like it's packed fine in the box. So it wasn't the box that did it. It came out of the factory like that. So, there has been some improvements. Let's be honest. Like if you look at that Pac-Man behind me, anybody who's got the Pac-Man XL, you look at that marquee is reverse printed on the inside. Some of the other marquees we got back in the, XL 3/4 scale days, like look terrible. That Mortal Kombat 2 marquee on the Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy, how washed out it was. And of course, the Mortal Kombat 2 first generation marquee that they sent out if you wanted to upgrade your first gen Mortal Kombat cab, how washed out that marquee was because of the sticker quality. But now we're getting to a point where like they're listening to the audience and they're like, oh, okay, we got to put more money into the marquee so they don't look like shit. And they've done that with Pac-Man. So it'd be nice if they continue doing that. Work is for people who can't play video games. I wish, man. You have no idea how busy I am. So before I end, I got to tell you, lately has been a huge slog. I mentioned like my daughter was going through this new thing. And man, like I wake up in the daytime and if I get an hour to do something for myself, sometimes it's a friggin' miracle, man, because, oh, I'm so busy. Like, honestly, I got this show up probably like 2 hours, just less than 2 hours before it went up. Even doing the thumbnail and setting up the show was like the only free time I got before I jumped on here and hung out with you guys. So my time has been limited lately. I wish I had more time. Somehow I have managed to almost get through Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So, I mean, I'm obviously finding the time somewhere, so I shouldn't complain too much. Anyways, guys, so going back to the poll results, before we close up the show, 181 votes coming in last place, the last thing that you guys consider to be a problem with Arcade1Up cabs, the last thing that you guys consider you would change is the last thing we talked about, and that would be the controls, the quality. So right now, only 12% of the audience that voted tonight feel that the controls, wood, other parts of the cabinet need to be higher quality. Moving on to number 3, and that is form factor. So the move to XL, even though we all say the XL is, what Arcade1Up should have always been, most people don't feel that it's necessary. They feel that we would love to see XLs, but we want to continue with the 3/4 scale. That's what we grew up buying with this company. Grew up's a weird term. We're used to buying from this company, so we want to keep moving in that direction. Coming in third, no, coming in second, I mean, new games lists at 29%. So coming in, I'm not surprised, especially after the last year. It's been a year of re-releases in the deluxe form factor, which is great for people that want to upgrade their cabs or for new people coming in because they're the best versions of these machines released to date. However, us longtime fans, it's a little hard to see all these releases come out and only 2 releases this year that are new or interesting. I mean, you go back to, 2 years ago, we had like 10, 12 new cabinets that we were excited about, new licenses that we were excited to buy, Simpsons, X-Men, Ridge Racer, like it went on and on and on. And this year we only got 2. Last year we didn't get many either. We don't talk about it because it seems like it's something not to talk about, but like we got Blitz, we got MVC2 last year. It was slim pickings last year too. So 2 years in a row where it's really been limited on the releases that came out. Maybe last year we don't notice it as much because the quality of the releases were so much higher. I mean, obviously Blitz was long sought after, MVC2 was long sought after, so they were higher tier titles than Fast and Furious. Time Crisis is one of the top requested light gun games, so yeah. And then the number one answer, which is no surprise to me, price. But I will say, even though it's the number one answer, it only came in at 33%, form factor 26%, and games at 29%. So really, most people feel strongly about all of these. It's not like one topic ran away with it. I'll go back to Paul, the list that went up there on Reddit, and it was overwhelming that 282 votes compared to the next highest, which was 90. So that's a much larger gap than the poll that I've got here. The poll I got here is 181%. And what it really tells me is really, we're a little undecided. We kind of want all these things Arcade1Up. We want bigger form factors. We want new games. We want higher quality, and we want to pay less for it. So figure it out. RetroCac says none of the other choices matter if you can't afford the cabs. That's fair. Controls are the easiest things to change via third party, so I assume why it's the last. Well, that's not 100% true. Arcade1Up gets wild with that glue, man, and sometimes it's a real pain in the ass to get those controls out. Francisco Garcia says, these were always going to be essentially big toys, not premium products. Anything over $500 is just too much for the quality you get. I've never spent more than $300 on any of my 7 cabs. That's fair too, man. I mean, that's the thing. No one really looked at these as premium arcades. Like, we looked at them as, hey man, these are cheap arcade replicas we can have in our home. And when they stopped being cheap is when it became hard for a lot of people. The interest wasn't as much there when all of a sudden we were like, oh man, look, Time Crisis, but it's $750. You feel like you should get more for $750, I guess. Other people have bought Time Crisis and they're completely happy with it. So I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's just it. I'm going to end the poll there. 183 votes. The numbers really haven't changed. Like I said earlier, really, Arcade1Up, what people want are better quality, controls and wood, bigger cabs, new games. We want them cheap. There you go. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, some value came out of this, some understanding. And maybe if anybody from Arcade1Up ever watches this, they get some insight into how they can better I don't know, meet the demands of their consumers going forward. Or maybe they're like, leave us alone, man. We're trying to do the best we can here. Anyways, guys, I hope this show was interesting for you. Not a lot of news going on right now, not a lot to discuss, but in the meantime, we can discuss what we want for the future. Thank you very much, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you this week. I'm going to bust my ass tomorrow with every bit of free time I got. And sometime on my birthday, I'm going to get my Arcade1Up Pac-Man XL review out. I apologize. Should have had this done weeks ago. It's just really super hard for me to record, 7-8 hours gameplay, do scripts. I don't know if I'm going to get to do scripts on this one, but, flesh out a concept for how I'm going to do my review and edit it all together. But I'm going to bust my ass and get it done this week for you guys. And I will tell you, it's going to be a pretty positive review. And I got the cab for free, so from the company. So I'm sure people will have some comments to say about that. But I mean, there's not really much negative to say. It's awesome. That's one of the other barriers too. I mean, there's not a lot of points to talk about because everything's really good. So anyways, I'm going to bust my ass to get this done before my birthday. Hopefully I'll get that out Wednesday, if not Thursday. And besides that, everybody else have a wonderful week, and we'll see you for that. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. This has been Chill and Chat with Michael B.